Hello everybody, Grizzly Pig here. Welcome to today's episode. We are in Star Citizen at Wikelo's Emporium today because I am going to buy the Wikelo Hornet. Yes, that's right, the Super Hornet Mark II Wikelo Edition. I have got all of my Ace pilot helmets here and all of the other stuff I need. We're going to take the quest, and you can see that it actually is wrong again, and it's saying that we need a UEE medal. That's not correct. We actually need a cartography medal. So bear that in mind. The display board is wrong. We're going to send that down and collect the Wikelo Hornet right now. So that was 20 Wikelo favours, 10 Ace Pilot helms, and one of the comp boards from Ruin Station that you need from the executive hangar. That's number 5, but we need 6 of those as well. So it's actually not that expensive to get. We did indeed get it scammed again here, and we cannot retrieve our Hornet from Wikelo, so I'm going to go and fetch it from somewhere else. Before I do that, we're going to go in the DPS calculator to have a look at what build I want to run on this thing. So this is effectively an F7C Super Hornet Mark II. So you can see the build I have here. I've already put everything in. We're going for Omniskies on the 2 tier 4 guns right here, because these are much similar in bullet speeds to the NDBs that I'm also going to be running. If you have a look here at NDB, the bullet speed is 1400 meters a second. The Omnisky is 1344. They're a lot closer in bullet speed than NDBs matched up with S4CFs, for example. They are a slower fire rate, the Omniskys, but our gimbal header is going to at least be in pretty much exactly the same place. And that's very important. So they're the guns. We're going to be running FR66 for our shields. We do have 3 of them. That is different on the executive hangar Super Hornet. You only get 2 shields, although gun loadout is the same. I did say something different in my last video. I did think that you got on the nose turret only size 2s, but on the Pyam one you do also get size 3s as well. So the difference there is that we get an extra shield. So that is nice. We're going to be running the JS400 power plant. I think we get that anyway, and hopefully we get all of the FR66s too. The coolers are not going to be snow blinds, but I have tweaked my cooler build here so that we get exactly the right amount of power distribution to run everything, so that when we fly out the hangar we don't have to mess about with anything. We can just turn the engine over and go. So I'm using 2 snow blinds purely for that purpose. So we got a bit of cooling. That's actually pretty good. So already extra marks for this ship that we can run everything and still have some cooling. And we can see with that we get over 5,500 HP in a bubble shield there. Pretty nice. And the total HP of the ship is just over 15,000. So I think this is going to be a really nice build. So for some reason we've been given 2 FR66s and an all-stop shield. So I'm going to change this all-stop out for another FR66. And I'm also going to change out those glaciers for the snow blinds as well, so that we can get the power distribution that we talked about earlier. So we get given 2 Revenants and Panthers. We're going to swap these out for the MDBs and the 2 Omniskies as well. So I'm just going to mess about with this, get this all worked out, then we're going to send the ship up and take it out for some missions. So here we are, ship's all loaded out and looks absolutely beautiful again in the champagne colour. Kind of reminds me of Big Grandad's old Rover 600. Looks very different to the Pyam edition. That one comes in a nice camo effect, which is also very nice. Ignore that Gladius rubble over there, nothing to see there. Just give this thing a nice little eyeball round. Looks absolutely stunning and also quite ferocious with all those guns on as well. It's quite a beastly amount of guns for such a small ship. The Hornet is one of the older ships in the game, but I do absolutely love the design. Very well done indeed. Anyway, that's enough about the looks. Let's get in the cockpit and have a look at what's going on here. Again, because of our build, we should be able to turn the engine straight on and just go straight with it and fly without having to mess about with any of the power management. So we're doing a orange security patrol mission right now. We're going to try mixing it up with the fixed gimbal mode and free gimbal mode as well. The view out the front is very good. We have got a bit of canopy framework in the way, but it's not too bad at all. I quite like this view. And it's quite a cool color as well. So what I find with this is if I get kind of glancing blows with the bullets, then you're going to be doing a little bit of damage, which is quite nice, taking some chunks out of our enemies. But if you get a critical hit, that's to say all of your weapons hit at once, it's going to be absolutely devastating to these light fighters. So this ship can absolutely handle itself in this mission, no problem at all. We've not even really been hit. This ship is super fast, albeit not as fast as the Arrow or the Razor. If you're doing the search for the beacons objective on these missions, you'll actually find that if you just stay in SCM, you'll still get get to the beacons like super fast anyway. I wouldn't bother going quantum unless they're over 20 kilometers away, and this thing is really nice and fast and very maneuverable as well, which is super nice when fighting light fighters and also for using the fixed gimbal mode. So in free gimbal mode, this ship is really good news because there doesn't seem to be any restriction on where this can fire. It doesn't seem to be like if you look too far to the left or the right, one of the guns will get jammed and not be able to make the angle. So that's great. And with the big guns on the wings as well, you just have to land one nice shot and you do absolutely devastating damage. Something to bear in mind, because in free gimbal mode you do fire slightly at a lower rate, and in fixed gimbal you fire obviously much quicker, and this thing, because it's so maneuverable, it works for that absolutely amazing as well. So top marks for this ship as far as its diversity in its gimbal modes is concerned. So I skipped the second objective because it was search for the beacons. No one really wants to see that. We're on the third objective here now, and we're going to blow these ships up to see if we can protect the ship. Another thing I love about this ship as well is when you are firing your afterburners, it makes a absolutely crazy sound, like there's some huge knocking going on in the engines. It's a really cool ship, like top marks for looks, 100%. I think this is pretty much one of my favourite ships. It is just like a Hornet. It may be quite easy to squish, but if you get stung by it, it's gonna hurt. And you can see that Buccaneer absolutely got destroyed right there. And now moving on to the Arrow, I believe. These are a lot more manoeuvrable, but you can see we don't really have much problem keeping up with them. Any misses we can just put down to skill issue, quite frankly. And if you're interested in using this build, then the Omnisky S4s you can actually buy. Easiest places I would recommend is going to be Seraphim or Baijini Point, simply because they are space stations. You don't actually have to go down to the surface then get the tram. The NDBs you can pick up at Obituary Station in Pyro. You have to run the contested zone and then get the loot at the end and hope you get NDB 30s from that. I've got a video on how to run Obituary, so please go and check that out. That was just one installation of my Executive Hangar Guide series there. And now you can see we are doing Combat Gauntlet Scenario 6, where we will be fighting 2 Gladiuses and a Constellation. So we're going to get behind this rock here and block the line of sight so that we can control the fight. This is also going to protect us from missiles as well. And hopefully we're going to tease one of the Gladiuses out. And when he is close enough, we're just going to go full ham on him and get him down before something else pops out and gets line of sight on us. And as we are only in a medium fighter, we don't have a very large shield. So it is important that we try and deal with these Gladiuses first and we don't just go straight for the Constellation. Otherwise we will get blindsided and overwhelmed. Even in my Corsair, I use this tactic where I'll get behind the rock and tease out the Gladiuses, not because I'm worried about getting blown up, but just because I want the sustain. I want to do more missions before having to go back and repair my ship. So we did have to dip and take some cover behind a rock. We're doing this so that we can block the line of sight from the Constellation, and that will allow us to get our shield back, and then we'll start taking out the Gladiuses again. These Gladiuses can be a bit annoying sometimes because of their small cross section. They can sometimes actually just take longer to get down than other ships that are even tankier than it but a bit bigger. And the Buccaneer was a great example of that. That absolutely got splattered because it has a larger cross section. Anyway, we're now onto the Constellation and we're just going to keep circling around this thing. And what you want to try and do here is fire off your afterburners when the Constellation actually starts firing on you, and hopefully he's going to miss a lot more. And yes, we are taking hits, and if we get hit too much, I'm always going to pay attention to where the nearest rock is so that we can dip and take some cover behind that. We don't want to dip too early because now we've got the shields down, we're actually going to get some value out of our damage because we can hit the actual hull of the ship now and do some damage to it. And if we dip and get our shields back, the Constellation's also going to get its shields back as well. Our shields are indeed getting a bit low now, so we are going to have to dip. It looks like we haven't got much damage off on the body, but we have. Just because it hasn't gone red yet doesn't mean we haven't done some nice damage. And it's important with the Constellation here that you try and hit the back of the ship if you can, where possible, because it's a lot easier to get the back shield down, and that's where its thrusters are as well. You seem to be able to just get a lot more nicer hits on the back end of the Constellation. So our shields got low, so we need to rat out, get behind this little rock here. This will do. Doesn't matter, we just need to block the line of sight of the Constellation and just keep tweaking our position until our shields are full again. He's going to get his shield back as well, but we're not going to worry about that because we're going to absolutely tear through it again. I think on my other Hornet, I'm going to put a ballistics loadout, and that's going to be purely for PvP. Not that I wouldn't use this in PvP, but I think the ballistics might be slightly better. Let me know what you guys think. This ship is 100% going to be really nice in PvP. And you can see in PvE, it handles the 74k Orange Patrol mission very easily. I wouldn't do the 135k security threat mission. Far too many ships, you're probably going to get clapped quite quickly doing that one. But as you can see, this ship is also quite capable of doing this combat gauntlet mission quite easily as well. This is a top tier ship. If I was going to give it marks out of 10, it would have to be 9.5. The look of the ship, the usability of it, the free gimbal and the fixed gimbals are working both very nicely. It's quite diverse. The only downside to it is that it could have a few more rounds in the bag before you have to cool off and regen. It would be nice if you could fire, say, 75 shots before you had to regen again. That would be pretty good. Other than that, absolutely amazing ship. I really recommend going for this, particularly the Wikelo version, just because you get the best of both worlds with this one. You get the extra shield that the MkII edition doesn't have, and you also get the upgrade of the two size 2 guns to a size 3 as well. We didn't get to test the missiles out, sadly. On this thing, it comes with 8 size 1 missiles, which is quite nice. I don't generally use them in PvE though, so we didn't get to see them here in this episode. This constellation is on its last legs now. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful or interesting, please don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. The next episode, I promise, is going to be the A2 Hercules. I'm going to buy that and test that out and tell you what I think of it. So please tune in for that, and I'll see you all next time.